All right, let's talk about a true unsung hero of the workshop, the humble chipboard screw. Now, I know it might seem like such a small thing, but trust me, understanding this tiny piece of hardware is the absolute key to taking your DIY projects from looking pretty good to looking truly professional.
Come on, we've all been there, right? You're on the home stretch. You're assembling that brand new cabinet. You drive in that final screw, and then you hear it, that awful crack. A split board. Or maybe even worse, the screw head just strips out, and now you're totally stuck. It is one of the most maddening moments for any DIYer.
So, what's the big secret to avoiding all that frustration? It's actually super simple. Using the right tool for the job. Just look at the difference here. On the left, a generic screw is basically just a wedge, forcing the wood apart. Total fail. But on the right, you see how that purpose-built chipboard screw just sits in there perfectly? It's not just a suggestion, it's the whole secret to getting that pro result, especially with materials like chipboard, MDF, and particle board.
Okay, let's really get into it. To appreciate why these screws work so incredibly well, we've got to break one down piece by piece. We're going to go from the head all the way to the very tip, and you'll see the engineering genius that's packed into this little guy. Starting right at the top, you've got the head. Most chipboard screws have this countersunk design. That's the angled shape that lets it sit perfectly flush. But here's the magic trick. See those little ribs underneath? Those are called nibs. As you drive the screw home, those nibs act like tiny little cutters, literally carving out the perfect little pocket for the head to sit in. This gives you that absolutely flawless finish with zero extra work. It's brilliant. Now, how you actually turn the screw is just as important. Over on the left is the drive. It's super common in Europe, and it's fine. But it can slip when you really put some torque on it. That's what we call cam out. But on the right, you've got the Torx drive. And honestly, this is the upgrade. The engagement is so much better, it transfers power like a dream, and it basically makes slipping impossible. For any serious DIYer, switching to Torx is a total game changer. No more frustration.
Let's talk about the real engine of the screw, the thread. Chipboard screws pretty much always have what we call coarse threads. That just means they're deep, they're sharp, and they're spaced far apart. And that's not by accident. This design is specifically engineered to take a huge aggressive bite into materials like particle board. That wide spacing gives the wood dust somewhere to go, which means you get incredible grip without building up all that pressure that causes those dreaded splits. Okay, let's clear something up because this trips a lot of people up. You'll hear the terms self-tapping and self-drilling, and it's so important to know they are not the same thing. Self-tapping just means the screw cuts its own threads as it goes in, and yeah, pretty much all chipboard screws do that. But a self-drilling screw, that has an actual drill bit on the end. Those are for metal, and using one in wood is a huge mistake. It just drills out too much material, leaving the threads with nothing to grab onto. You end up with a super weak joint. And finally, let's look at the very tip. A lot of high-quality chipboard screws have what's called a Type 17 point. And this thing is a fantastic innovation. It's got a super sharp point with a little cutting notch carved into it. This little detail acts like a mini drill bit, clearing away the wood fibers as it goes in. That makes it easier to drive, and most importantly, it massively reduces the risk of splitting the board. A lot of times, it means you don't even need a pilot hole. So, we've got a screw that goes in clean and holds on tight. But what keeps it from rusting and makes sure your project is going to last for years? Well, that's where coatings come into play. This table breaks it all down nice and simple. The coating you choose really needs to match the environment, which in Europe we define with service classes. So for your indoor furniture, basic zinc plating is perfectly fine. If you're doing a project in a kitchen or maybe a sheltered deck, you'll want to step up to a better proprietary coating. And for anything that's really out in the weather, especially near the coast, you absolutely need stainless steel. And this chart, wow, this really tells the story. It shows how long these screws last in a salt spray test, which is basically like hyper-aging them. A standard zinc screw gives up after about 96 hours. A good proprietary coating? That gets you 500, maybe 1,000 hours. And stainless steel? Well, it's just in a whole other league, lasting over 1,500 hours. This is why picking the right coating isn't just a tiny detail. It is crucial for how long your work is going to last. Now, you've probably seen all those symbols and letters on a box of screws here in Europe. It's really easy to just let your eyes glaze over, but listen, they are not just there for decoration. They are your guarantee that you're getting a quality, safe, and environmentally responsible product. So why should you actually care about all that?
because it means that the screw you're holding in your hand is going to do exactly what it's supposed to do. It means its strength has been tested, its performance is reliable, and it's free from nasty chemicals. It's really about having confidence in the materials you're using to build stuff for your own home. Let's just quickly translate this alphabet soup. The CE mark? That's your basic guarantee for safety and the environment. EN 14592 is a big one for wood. It makes sure things like pull-out strength are totally reliable. And ROHS and REACH? Think of those as your health and safety net. They're the rules that keep harmful stuff like lead out of the products you bring into your house.
All right, enough of the theory. Let's make this practical. In this next part, we're going to take all this knowledge and turn it into some real-world, actionable tips that you can use on your very next project. You can basically think of this slide as your project cheat sheet. Building some indoor cabinets, a zinc-plated countersunk screw with a Type 17 point is your best friend. Doing a job in a kitchen or a bathroom where there might be some moisture, you'll want that same screw but made from A2 stainless steel. And for something like an outdoor planter box, a washer head screw in stainless is going to give you the serious holding power and rust protection you need. It's a simple guide to getting it right every single time. Okay, let's talk about one of the most annoying things that can happen, the dreaded cam out. That's when your driver bit just keeps slipping and jumping out of the screw head, chewing it up in the process. It's the worst. Here's the fix. First, just double-check your bit. Are you absolutely sure you're using a PosiDrive bit for that PosiDrive screw? It's an easy mistake. Second, make sure you're applying firm, straight, downward pressure as you drive. And for the ultimate solution, just buy torque screws next time. This whole problem literally becomes a thing of the past. And here's the other big one, the one that can ruin a really expensive piece of wood in a split second. You're driving a screw near the edge of a board, and you see it start to split. That's a heartbreaker. The moment you see a split starting to form, just stop. Stop driving. You're probably just a little too close to the edge. The best fix is to back the screw out and just pre-drill a small pilot hole. That gives the screw a clear path and relieves all that pressure. Now remember that cool Type 17 point we talked about. It's designed to help prevent this. But when you're working really close to an edge, pre-drilling is always the safest bet. So as we wrap things up here, it all really comes down to this one simple idea. The right screw makes all the difference. It's not just a fastener, it's a little piece of engineered problem solving. It's designed to let you build things with confidence and create projects that are truly built to last. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? We've just spent all this time geeking out on the incredible design inside a simple screw. It really makes you wonder, what other simple tools in your workshop, the ones you might not even think about, are actually amazing feats of engineering? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.